All right. Hello. I don't know what just happened. Oh, my phone was playing, and I was like, what is going on? There's some extra noise in the background. Hey, guys. Welcome to the Piper Academy Network. I am Lunar Beaches Crypto. By my side is BC PortCorp. What is going on, BC? How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. It's been a pretty quiet weekend.
Yeah, pretty quiet. Pretty quiet for you, um, I guess. It's been pretty loud around the household around here. But yeah, it is what it is. Went to a Grizzlies game Friday night. That was a lot of fun with the wife. First time out, just her and I in a while. So that was really nice. But anyway, today we're going to be going over everything you need to know about XRP. My man was pulling hard on that E6 as trade fly.
Yeah, it's so like I don't get to know when you start the show as the guest like that. So
Yeah.
I was trying to sneak it in before you started.
It's all good. But yeah, so everything you need to know about XRP, I guess I can say we're gonna go over the good, the bad, and I guess the ugly. We'll see. We'll have a discussion, maybe even a little bit of a debate, or I might try to play devil's advocate and pull BC Port Corp over and to invest a little bit of money into XRP, but not financial advice. None of this is financial advice. Um, we're just two guys that want to go over some interesting things. Uh, but before we get started, let's just go ahead and talk about um, XRP in general. Have you been, wait, first of all, have you been seeing this controversy on X over the past few days with between Bitcoin and XRP maxis? They tend to not like each other a lot.
Well, I haven't necessarily seen the posts. I did see a giant news article on it on TradingView because I like to keep up with the news. And sometimes it has a lot of stuff that goes on X because, that can move some markets. And yeah, I definitely saw quite a bit about it. And I mean, I get the battle. I get the battle. You have one project that has been around and these people have been holding forever and they don't want anything else to be used as a reserve asset. And so when you hear something like XRP or Solana and they're like, but wait, what about decentralization without
Mm-hmm.
actually fully diving into a project, then
Mm-hmm.
you might get a little bit of uproar and a lot of people talking out of both sides of their mouth. So
Yeah.
it's all good for crypto.
Yeah. It's all good, right? All right.
Yeah.
So first things first, just want to get into XRP. So XRP, as far as I know it, was originally created by David Schwartz and Jed McCaleb, co-creators of the XRPL, which is the XRP ledger. David Schwartz has a background in cryptography. I know that he's done some subcontracting for the NSA, and he also developed a distributive um, distributive ledger technology patent in the 1980s, which is very interesting to me. And this has also caused a lot of people within the XRP community to speculate on whether or not David Schwartz is Satoshi Nakamoto. However, David Schwartz has often and every single time it has been brought up, he has denied it through and through. And he says that he didn't even come into contact with Bitcoin until about 2011. But Jed McCaleb eventually left the project and started his own project, XLM Stellar, which is essentially the same code, but not really. I think the I haven't looked into XLM for a while, but I think it's a little more centralized than XRP simply because Jed McCaleb, it seemed like one time he just decided to burn half the supply just out of nowhere, and he did it all on his own. So at least, or maybe the community voted on it, but I'm not sure. But XRP, so its focus is for speed, scalability, and cost effectiveness. So, fast transactions, moving money, big money, quickly, typically 3 to 5 seconds per transaction. And those transactions are settled in real time. So it's not you're sending it here and then, there's a whole process to get it settled. No, it goes from one place to the other, and it's done in that 3 to 5 second time. Like the whole transaction is settled and done. The XRP ledger is decentralized. Ripple Labs itself has been a major part of its development, of course, throughout the history of the ledger. However, they have pushed themselves further and further away into it to create more decentralization for the chain. We'll get into a lot more of that, but just for everybody that's aware, XRP is not Ripple. Ripple is not XRP. They are two different entities entirely. Ripple just uses XRP to facilitate its transactions and its company's I don't know, what do you call it? To keep the company rolling. A lot of people take issue with this because they see it as XRP dumping on the community's heads. However, the XRP community, the people that love XRP, counter that argument by saying we know everything Ripple does. They're transparent about everything. They have the escrow, and you know what? We're cool with it. And I think that's pretty much the big breakdown, one of the big breakdowns between XRP and possibly potentially Bitcoin maxis as well. But it was designed for just fast cross-border payments, and it's like sending a text message versus like traditional wire transfers, right? So you just send a simple thing over, and you don't have to wait for 3 to 5 business days or however long it takes. MoneyGram used to be a big one, who was a partner of Ripple until they got sued by the SEC. What are you laughing about?
MoneyGram.
Yeah, MoneyGram.
Yeah. Who used to it? I think I'm just a little too young to have used the MoneyGram in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
I have used MoneyGram, so that's what's funny. I've used MoneyGram before. But,
we're on two different sides of millennial.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm like right in the middle of millennial, because I've been told that 45 is like the upper boundary of millennial, and I'm 37. So, yeah. Anyways, use cases, cross-border payments, like I said, liquidity provisioning, so XRP as a bridge currency, remittance solutions and partnerships with companies like MoneyGram, and micropayments and other niche applications. Yep. And let's see. Yeah, high transaction speed. So I was talking about the 3 to 5 seconds. The low fees, fractions of a penny per transaction. So, CryptoCoin Mindset is, unfortunately, I have used MoneyGram. MoneyGram was for the trappers and sending money back to their families back in the day. Yeah, well. Now they use crypto. Crypto in general. XRP was launched, this says in 2012, by Ripple Labs. I'm not entirely sure about that, because I know that it was created by Jed McCaleb and David Schwartz, and then the founders gifted it to a company called OpenCoin. And then OpenCoin then ended up rebranding and turning into Ripple, the company. So they were hit with a lawsuit Oh, I forgot. Arthur Brito is another one that nobody talks about because he's no longer with the project. He was also a co-creator, or co. Well, he's a co-founder of Ripple Labs with Jed McCaleb, Chris Larson, and Arthur Brito. I guess David Schwartz wasn't a part of the creation of Ripple Labs, but he was then hired on by Ripple to become their chief technical officer or CTO. So um, that's just what I know off the top of my head. Um, any comments so far, BC?
I think you pretty much covered all the basics. I
Mm-hmm.
know the escrow is going to be a big thing that we will probably talk about later. Uh, and then probably all of the SEC stuff too, because that's more of the deeper dive into things. But for the basics, I think you got it all covered. Uh,
Yep.
the 100 billion token supply,
Oh yeah.
which is already that's already out there. It is pre-mined, and the
Mm-hmm.
reason that they are able to do these transactions so quickly is that they have a consensus algorithm instead
Mm-hmm.
of a mining or a staking algorithm,
Right.
which is done by validators, which don't get paid. So that is why your transactions on XRP are incredibly cheap. And
Mm-hmm.
it kind of does allow for that taking over the banking system and cross border payments. I will say XRP does a great job at what it wants to do. And I, as I've told you, my only thing is the whole Ripple Labs Association and the escrow. So,
Mm-hmm.
other than that, I think it's a solid project. I'm one of those Bitcoin maxis that doesn't trust people. So when people are associated with a project, I feel like there's the potential for corruption or less than less than transparent actions or things like that. So
Well,
we'll dive all into that.
I would say to Ripple's credit, I think that they are very transparent with everything that they do. They at least on its face, they seem to be very transparent. The code it is an open source ledger, so anybody can see the code. Anybody can see anything that's going on with it. So in order to get changes made on the XRP ledger, the protocol requires 80% yes vote by the UNL, the unique node list, on a protocol, and that yes vote needs to hold for 2 weeks without anybody dropping off. Once they've gone through all the all the protocol and all the code and all that stuff. That 2 week process just allows for like the consensus, right? It allows for them to really dig deep into it and see if it's something that they want to push through. They had something called the Hooks Amendment. Not really sure what the Hooks Amendment was for. I want to say it was for smart contracts, but that took 2 years to get approved on the XRPL, and to me, that speaks a lot to the decentralization of the chain. The fact that it took 2 years to get an amendment, changed on the, to get part of the protocol changed at all for the UNL to all agree on it. Um, there was they just recently did an AMM, automated market maker. They added that to the chain. That took a while to get put through as well. So anybody that runs a unique node, they get to vote. And Ripple has, I mean, even since 2019, they've cut their node list in half. They only make up, last I checked, which was a few days ago because we were getting ready for this, they only run about 3% of the unique node list or unique nodes. So 3% is a pretty small number. Now I do,
I didn't know it had dropped that low.
yep. They're down to 3% on their node list, and they tried to push it as much as possible to they Ripple wants more than anything for other people to use the XRPL and to build on the XRPL because it helps them and their business model. Let's be real. The more people that use the XRPL and provide liquidity helps them and their business model. And a lot of people within the XRP community see them as, what would you call it? The people, steering the ship, right? Riding the ship, we like what you're doing here. We're okay with it. We're cool with it. One thing that a lot of people do talk about when it comes to the escrow, and something that I tend to point out, is that if there ever comes a time where Ripple decides to go against their own best interest and do something with their XRP that the community does not want them to do, the community can literally vote to remove them from, to burn that escrow. They can literally vote to burn the escrow if they want to. So if they started to become bad actors, the community could then move to remove them. But as of right now, I think the community overall likes what Ripple's doing to help push the project forward. And again, to your point, it's just about whether or not you believe that is antithetical to crypto for a company to be such a big part of, or a corporation to be such a big part of a project. And, like I've said, to Ripple's credit, they've tried to distance themselves from the XRP ledger as much as possible, except for the escrow, which, let's go ahead and get into the escrow just a little bit. The escrow is released. I think they're down to Ripple Labs owning, last I checked, it was like 46%. So they've gotten below 50% of all XRP. Now, that doesn't include insiders or anybody that's been holding XRP for a significant amount of time since the beginning. But there is a set release, a set schedule. Every single month, the first of the month, the escrow unlocks. I want to say it's 100 million or a billion XRP. It might be a billion.
It's a billion XRP each month, and then whatever is unused goes back to the escrow.
Right. So you've got the escrow, and it's kind of like a chain of 1 billion XRP, 1 billion XRP, 1 billion XRP, and then they'll unlock this 1 billion XRP. They'll try to sell it to whoever, exchanges, partners, whatever, banks, businesses, and then whatever doesn't get sold, they throw it back into escrow, and it comes to the back of the line, and then that just extends the escrow unlocking period further into the future. So right now, the schedule is set for, I believe, 2027 for a full release, but that can still continue to get pushed back further and further, as long as they continue to put that back in escrow, which I'm not sure if they have to or not. Probably not, but it is in their business model to put it back into escrow. So, thoughts?
I mean, it's a very unique model for token distribution.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't really necessarily like it. Where it's like you've already have all of these tokens pre-mined.
Mm-hmm.
They are available, but they're not available.
Mm-hmm.
And as you've said, it's like, yes, they can be voted out of controlling the escrow.
Mm-hmm.
They would take a lot of time. So if they started acting in a malicious way, dumped their XRP on the community, things like that, you'd see a giant shock to the community because it's against what they've already been used to.
Mhm.
Honestly, I just wish all of the supply was kind of out there already. Where it's like, if you want to use this as a transacting material, um, it's best that it is at a lower price and that you buy it when you need it and then you transact with it and then transaction settled.
Mhm.
Um, I just think the whole escrow thing is a little bit sketchy when you can just put in, I know they already have one, but a decent burn mechanism.
Mhm.
Whereas in like Solana has or like Ethereum has, they've got one. It's just so small, it's not really relevant, so that they have to have an escrow to keep the inflation and deflation on their token being done by escrow. So it, you started out with 55 billion tokens and you still got 40 to like 43. I think it was like 43.5 billion in your escrow.
Mhm.
That doesn't seem like that's going to be done by 2027. So it just allows them to be in there longer and longer and longer when the supply is still the same. The supply actually is the same. It just, they're creating false supply shocks, basically, is what it comes down to, which also boosts them at the end of the day. So I don't know.
So let me ask you, what is the difference exactly between that and a halving?
So instead, they're like with Bitcoin and it's a mining process. You know that there is the potential to have this many tokens.
Mhm.
And instead, what you have is it's like, you know that this many tokens are going to be mined in a month, which
Mhm.
means that this is what you can buy. And instead, it like, that's it. But instead, each month, Ripple's releasing 1 billion. And when those don't get bought, they just like, okay, well, we'll put it back into the account. Well, when a Bitcoin is mined, it's mined. There's no putting it back. It's
Mhm.
done. It's out there. You can purchase it.
Mhm.
And that's the difference on that, where it's they control supply, whereas in miners don't control supply. They make supply. So I don't know. It's like Bear with the diamonds, where it's like, oh, well, there's actually an atrocious amount of diamonds, but we only release 10% to the public.
Mhm. Sink and Toaster, I don't want you to know that I will just be asking some questions just to ask questions, just to keep the conversation. You know, you've got to be able to look at every single aspect of things. You know, it can't just be one little thing. You know, I when I ask a question to BC, it is to get a little more in depth into the subject. It's not necessarily a pushback or anything like that. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't.
Yeah, well,
But he said Brad Garlinghouse makes him feel uncomfortable the same way that wet bread does. And I don't know. I've never gotten that feeling from Brad Garlinghouse, but Chris Larson, I definitely do get that feeling from that guy. Chris Larson, for those that don't know, he's like the liberal warrior of XRP, or of Ripple rather. He's the Greenpeace guy. He's the reason why Bitcoin maxis tend to conflate Ripple with everything that Chris Larson does. So Chris Larson's like a big Greenpeace guy, and he like had like this whole initiative to make I guess Bitcoin more environmentally friendly, and Bitcoin maxis take that as like a slight against them, I guess. Um, they're like they think that that means that he wants to get rid of Bitcoin. I don't know if Chris Larson wants to get rid of Bitcoin or not, but it hasn't been part of the conversation. I've never heard anybody at Ripple like say anything like truly negative about Bitcoin to the point where it seems like they're trying to get rid of it. But I mean, it is what it. I mean, people can believe whatever they want to believe, I guess. But The cool thing is that it is all open source. The ledger itself is open source, and this is why I've always been, or not always, but for like probably the past year and a half or so, I've kind of been like, the only thing bad about the XRPL is the fact that Ripple is involved, because that's the only thing that people ever attack. It's never the ledger itself. It's always Ripple and what Ripple does. So I feel like it would just help XRP out a lot if Ripple would just get out. But they also help drive a lot of the innovation within the XRPL. So it's for a retail investor, it's kind of like, if you're looking for an investment opportunity, they're probably the perfect crypto business model that there is. If you are to look at it from that perspective. Now, I know BC has qualms with that because he believes in the original Bitcoin philosophy, I guess. The original purpose of Bitcoin was, the peer-to-peer transactions. I don't want to put words in his mouth, so I'll let him give his take on all
Yeah.
of that.
Well, yeah, I got into crypto in 2011, and there was only one project then. It was Bitcoin, and I used it for its original peer-to-peer, where I have this Bitcoin, and I need to send it to someone else, and they need to give me something in exchange, and that's the peer-to-peer model. It's kind of like money, but it's more of the aspect of this is the tool that I'm using to send you money. It also allows you to turn your Bitcoin that you're holding into your banking system, which is something I loved because, at the end of the day, I had just watched my parents go through all of all of the 2008 crash and seeing a bunch of the effects from that. And I was just getting started on my investing journey back then. So watching the whole stock market dump and seeing the kind of corruption in the banks was very eye-opening. So I loved Bitcoin, and I was that nerdy kid in high school that was watching how Bitcoin was progressing. And I loved it. It was slow moving at first, and then you had a marketplace open up on it, which was actually allowed it to be used for its intended peer-to-peer use case. And then after that, it just kind of exploded. I do like the fact that with Bitcoin originally, you did have Satoshi, who was the main miner, which is kind of like you have XRP being they floated the blockchain going on and moving with its original purpose. But as soon as Bitcoin had that, where you can sell it, the miners can directly sell it to people, and you now have a marketplace which is using it, Satoshi just kind of bounced out and was like, here y'all go, you're welcome, I hope you just do great with this. And then you have extra,
aka
yeah,
died.
well, who knows, maybe he
Who
just
knows?
maybe he was just a good Samaritan that was like, y'all are dumb, this is how you do it. And just wanted to gift the world the most amazing financial instrument present that has ever existed. And I like that. The fact that we don't necessarily know who it is, that it's just a tool that everyone has the consensus where you get to vote and you approve the changes. The same, and I know XRP does the same thing. It's just there's no Satoshi there. Like if Satoshi had said, hey y'all, I want to introduce 8 megabyte blocks, you know what's probably going to happen? 8 megabyte blocks are probably going to get voted in. And that's just something where it's like, well, he made it, he probably knows what the hell we should do here. And it's like, that's my problems with most crypto projects that have a team controlling the project, that have the team controlling the direction of where this is going to go. This should be community driven. You're in charge of your own money, so be in charge of your own money. Don't let these people that are we're just smarter than everyone, just like the bankers were. Like,
Mm-hmm.
are they? Are they actually smarter than everyone? That's why I also hate a bunch of other crypto projects, because you got the one dude that likes to rah, rah, rah on Twitter and just be like, look, I know what I'm doing. And then, like, why doesn't your project show that you know what you're doing? Why isn't it competing? XRP wants to be cheap because that's how you can send the money around for cheaply. So I will give it that it does do what its intended purpose of cross-border payments extremely cheaply. And that was its whole intention. Let's debank the banks. But can you really debank the banks if you have Ripple Labs association with XRP? That's
Yes,
my whole.
because let me counter that with let me ask you this: how many corporations are have Bitcoin products now?
A
I
lot of
mean,
them, and I hate it.
that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of corporations have Bitcoin products now. So, I mean, I think it was inevitable when you're going to when you integrate a financial instrument, it's 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 got to start somewhere, and it's going to start to integrate with the current system. And I've always likened like XRP, and I guess we could say Bitcoin too, but in crypto in general. But I've always likened XRP to a Trojan horse to the banking system because of its interoperability. Um, it is, but its corporate backing or its Ripple backing, they're able to get people into or institutions into decentralization, decentralized ledgers, with that whole corporate. I won't call it a veneer because that seems insidious, but I will say, they're just. It's like I said, it's like a Trojan horse. It's like, hey, come in here, come into this little playground called the digital asset world, and we're interoperable. We'll even build you a little firewall, little thing that they do. They call it federated side chains for the XRPL. This
And
is
it's
what,
slower, and it's slower than a
yeah,
normal blockchain.
yeah, yeah. But it's they put up like a what do they call it? A walled garden. So essentially, a bank can have this walled garden, and whenever they want to use the XRPL, they push a button and it drops the wall, and then they can facilitate a transaction, and then as soon as it's done, they can put that wall back up because they want to safeguard themselves, whatever. David Schwartz has said that eventually it'll become kind of useless to even have that feature. They'll see the benefits of the decentralization and just being open to the liquidity pools in general. So, of course, Schwartz, I've watched several of his interviews and stuff, and super techie. So, a lot of it's over my head. But, I understand where they're going with things, and um, like I said, the interoperability, the ability to swap from one currency to another to settle it within 3 to 5 seconds is very attractive to banks. But the XRPL, the XRP ledger itself it's essentially a decentralized exchange. It was built that way to be like a decentralized exchange, so that you can swap Bitcoin on there for whatever you want. You can swap Ethereum on there for whatever you want. It's interoperable. That's the whole point. They have liquidity pools so that you can just swap in and out as easily, you know, in 3 to 5 seconds, and you're done. I mean, millions of dollars in 3 to 5 seconds. You're done, and it's cheap, and that is very attractive to banks. but that gets them more involved in the digital asset realm. And it's just kind of, to me, it's just kind of like a slow takeover. And I see Ripple and XRP as being like the Trojan horse that comes in and takes over the banking system. But since it's interoperable with everything else, of course, it's going to be tied to Bitcoin. It's going to be tied to Ethereum. It's going to be tied to everything else. It's XRP is kind of like a spear going into the banking system and just releasing everything into it. And all the liquidity from every other crypto that's, that is involved, or that XRP is involved with, whatever. Point is, banks use it. They will use it, probably. We know that now Ripple, at least, and their stablecoin RLUSD is going to be running on Chainlink, which is now a partner with Swift. So I think I don't know. For me, it's kind of like I've become very more orange pilled over the past I'd say over the past year and a half. But as far as like my long-term investment, my long-term holdings, that's something that I do want to hold on to. But to touch on something that somebody asked in the chat, is now a good price to buy XRP? Not financial advice, but I would say yes, but only for like the next month or two.
See, and
then I would
it just
sell
depends on your time. It just depends on your time horizon.
Now your time horizon. What do
I
you
was in
think?
like,
And Ripple will also does plan on doing an IPO, which is something that I'm definitely interested in. At least having some exposure to that. From an investment standpoint, I don't see why you wouldn't have some exposure to XRP. From a philosophical standpoint, I can understand why people wouldn't. But as somebody that's just trying to make some money, me, I mean, I don't see why anybody wouldn't. The business model, the ledger itself, all of that stuff to me it's great. It's fine. Like, why wouldn't you have some exposure at least to both Ripple and XRP? Why do you say for only a month? Because I think the top is coming in March. But anyway, that is for most of the market, or a lot of the market. Bitcoin, probably XRP. Maybe Ethereum gets a run later on in the year. I'm not sure on Ethereum, but that's going to the charts. We'll look at the chart in a minute. Let's just keep the XRP conversation going for now, though. Why hold a 2x rather than a 10x?
what projects are you talking about there?
Yeah,
That's what it depends.
risk factor. Like, I mean, there's a lot of answer to that. Only thing it shows is that you can lobby politicians to get what you want.
Well, I mean, you kind of have to. If
I mean,
you kind of have
for
to.
one, and if you think that people haven't lobbied for Bitcoin, you're out of your mind. People have lobbied for Bitcoin as well. Chris Larson did invest or donate. I want to say it was 1 million XRP, 1 million XRP to the Harris campaign, of course. And that's the only one that I know of. I don't know what anybody else part of the organization, part of Ripple, donated to. To me, yeah, they're trying to lobby for crypto. They're trying to lobby for crypto. That's what Bitcoin maxis don't like about it. They don't want anybody to lobby for crypto. They only want people to lobby for Bitcoin. And so I think that's the main stickler right there, is that they just don't want anything other than a Bitcoin reserve. And SBR is what they're calling it, Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. So, yep.
And I wish they wouldn't. I wish they wouldn't lobby for either of those things. I wish there wasn't Bitcoin ETFs. I wish Like there wasn't like an XRP ETF that has been applied for. I wish there wasn't a Solana ETF that was applied for. Like, yes, it allows for more traditional money to come in through alternative means, but like you're destroying crypto because you're supposed to hold your own crypto.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
I
not that
mean,
hard. You
if you
just you
just,
just buy a wallet and you just
mm-hmm.
put it on there and you're like, boop, okay, there's my investment. No one can touch it.
I mean, if
Whereas in
you,
like Chase Bank is now holding all of the Bitcoin for all of these ETFs, and they've never done anything sketchy in their lives. So yeah, I don't like it.
yeah, there is that. I mean, that's just about everything as long as they're holding it. But that's, but that's the whole point of the decentralization, though, and the governance of all of this, is that we do get a say. Um,
Hmm.
Username says differences Ripple is lobbying, not many voices of holders of BTC. They are not the same. Ripple lobbies for all of crypto, but I mean, of course, I mean the thing about Ripple, not just their business model, but the XRPL, it benefits when all of crypto is doing well. It doesn't benefit when crypto in general is not doing well, because the XRP ledger is a decentralized exchange. Its liquidity is provided by other players in the market, by other assets using the XRPL as a medium of exchange. If it's not being used, then it's useless. The other cryptos have got to use the XRPL. Otherwise, it's not as I mean, the price no move. That's why you see the price explode now, because there's a lot of interest in the XRP, and the XRPL is being used. Plus, we did get a Brad Garlinghouse having dinner. Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple's legal counsel, Stuart Alderati, had dinner with the president when after he won the election. So I mean, there's your lobbying right there. There's your lobbying. But I mean, it's gonna happen regardless. I understand. You say that not as many voices, but I still say, yeah, but the XRPL is still decentralized and it still has governance. And now this is where my knock on the XRPL will come in. Okay, this is my knock on the XRPL, and this is the issue that I have with it, that I have facetiously been keeping to myself. Uh, my problem is um, the validators, and in order to get a node, it costs you some money,
Hmm.
and it's not cheap, and it's not for everybody. As in, like, anybody can buy one, but obviously if you put a price tag on it, not everybody can. Whereas with Bitcoin, well, I mean, I guess you'd still have to have the money in order to buy a computer, in order to install a node or whatever, to download a node, however you do it, run a node. It's still free, right?
I mean, you can basically run a Bitcoin node off of one of those Raspberry Pi computers, which is going to cost you like $70.
Right.
I'm
So
not sure what the price of a XRP node is, though,
I'm not either. Let's see. Let's see. How much to
because like
run? Go ahead.
that would be the real barrier on things. Where it's like how decentralized is it really? If hey, I own a crap ton of XRP, and XRP has made me a crap ton of money, so I'm just gonna buy a crap ton of validators, and you just have validator pools basically that just end up being entities the same way that you have Bitcoin miners being in mining pools, which I'm also totally against. But that's
You're against the
neither here
mining
nor there.
pools?
Yeah.
I wonder why that would
Like,
be. Let's
I
centralize a
wonder
lot of the
why.
supply, a lot of the money. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's centralize just all aspects of something that was supposed to be decentralized. Sounds awesome. I'm for it.
Let's see. Operating system, Ubuntu, CPU, memory, 16 gigabytes or more, storage, solid state drive, blah, 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 bandwidth. Come on. How much to start a node?
It
XRP
doesn't
ledger.
it
What?
doesn't sound too expensive. From what you just said there, you would just need a DDR3 computer, which is like almost 3 generations old now, and like you can get those parts for like dirt cheap.
Oh, well, maybe I was wrong. But at the same time, I've also been uh, apparently the XRPL is difficult to build on.
Mhm.
Like because the type of protocol or language that it uses is very difficult to use. Um, I'm not
I see
sure.
that. I see that as a positive. Uh,
You see that as a positive?
yes. Because
Because
if
it's
it's
not Solana where you can just go on
yeah,
there
if
and
it's
click
very
create meme.
yeah, because if it's very easy to build on, then you get a lot of bad entities
Mm,
to build on it. Whereas in if it's harder to build on, you are less likely to do something crappy on your blockchain. You're not going to rug grandma for all of her money when it took you years to build this mechanism.
mm-hmm.
So it's like a different barrier to entry that Ethereum has, where Ethereum is very expensive to transact on. So that's why you don't get a lot of sketchy activity on it. If it's hard to build on, you won't get a lot of sketchy activity on it. Same way as ADA. ADA is like it's easy but hard to build on. So like you don't get a lot of sketchy activity on ADA.
That makes
That's a
sense.
plus. That's
That
a
makes
plus in my eyes.
Yeah, that makes sense as to why there hasn't been so many like meme coins built on the XRPL. Um, let's see, the last cycle, the biggest XRP meme was meme coin was called XRP Doge,
Was it
and
on XRP?
I trashed it every single time I could. Yes, um, I believe. Yeah, it was XRP. I think it was on XRP.
Let
Uh,
me.
maybe I'm not sure, but it wasn't very. I mean, it was slightly popular, but meme coins. I don't know that like we've been saying, it was XRPL was created for cross-border payments. It was created for remittances and just exchanging money real fast. But hello.
It was on the Solana chain.
Oh, you're looking. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
XRP Doge was.
Yep.
Um.
It says it right here. The contract is under Solana.
Oh, they might have moved it. There was a lot of there have been a lot of projects that dropped off of the XRPL during the bear market. Go figure. Um, they just I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that I'm happy that ended up not being kept on the XRPL. It's just kind of like, well, it sucked. So I'm glad that you're not on here anymore. But it doesn't naturally have the built-in smart contract features and NFT stuff. They've had to do stuff to LBC able to bump up your mic volume. Maybe a little bit. Maybe that's a little better. But yeah, so I will say, what was I? Where were we?
So you're talking
Yeah,
about
yeah, this,
XLS 30?
XLS 30. Oh, is it up to 30 now?
Yeah.
They had the last I saw was XLS 20, so it was XLS 10, and then that was like a whole like workaround that Schwartz and company had to do to try to get the smart contract feature on it to where you could do NFTs, and it was a weird wonky thing, set up trust lines and all this other stuff. Then they did the XLS 20. So I've migrated, some NFTs, well, a NFT from XLS 10 to XLS 20. And now you're saying that there's an XLS 30?
They're working on it.
Oh, they're working on it. Okay.
Yeah. That's the next thing in line. And so with XLS 20, that's how they were able to put build a stable coin mechanism, and for them to fully utilize it the way that they would like to with cross-border payments, that XLS 30 for the more use cases that they might see being used in banks and things like that. So if you want your banks to be in there using XRP's stablecoin on XRP's blockchain, or their ledger, as they like to call it, then you would need a faster blockchain, which is they want to get up to 50,000 TPS is their goal, which I mean, would compete with Visa, who is your number one transactor for banks.
Oh boy.
No.
So yeah. let's just go ahead and you got your chart up?
I do have my XRP chart up.
Let's go ahead and share your chart, and then you can give us a breakdown on where you think XRP is heading for the remainder of this cycle. Potential top. You don't have to give your potential top if you don't want, but if you do want, you can. And now is the time. Your screen is shared, and we're doing this. Also, if you guys have any questions, please throw them in the chat regarding XRP, username, and Sink and Toaster. Keep the nonsense to a minimum, and let's try to get some real questions in here. All right. Well, username did ask, Ripple is a company that holds the vast majority of XRP. What's the difference than placing Apple's stock in it? Not entirely sure.
So I think what he's talking about is that whole Ripple IPO you would addressed, where it's like, if I'm going to have exposure to XRP, I'm probably going to do it through their IPO, just being honest. Because I do, like, their business model is very solid. So I'm just not a fan of them on the crypto side of things. So
Gotcha.
So I was taking a look. I had to redraw my Fibonacci extension for the beginning because it didn't show up. I don't know if I deleted it by accident or what, but you can kind of see for this first cycle, we kind of blasted through here. When we got through on the second cycle, you came up close to that 4.236. So it's probably going to be that 4.382 that it ended up hitting. So this time around, I did have my eyes on that 1.618, and this is a run to run in current ranges. So pulled back from back here to here to here. Oh no, that was the other one. I have a run to run that I need to pull up. There we go. That run to run. As you can kind of see, we're sitting at the 1.618 now, and then that next target would be that 2.618 to the 1.618 on our current range that I have drawn up. So that's going to be about $5.14 to about $5.80 that I'd be looking at for XRP to kind of top this cycle. I think, honestly, if I know there was the question earlier, where is now a good time to buy? I would think not. Yes, you might have all of that, but there's other things out there that have not already run. Let's see where we're sitting in this current push up. From there to there, it's already sitting up 79% from last push up. In total, this push up that it's made from that bottom candle to now is sitting up 627%. So, like, how much more Do you really think it's going to explode when it's already exploded 600%? So I would wait for the bear market, and we'll see what happens with XRP's future and kind of what they get for these central bank digital currencies that they are trying to promote. Uh, which that's neither here nor there, but it's a way to use XRP, and that is money in the system. Whether you are for central bank digital currencies or against them, that's a positive in XRPs if they use that to move that around. So if you get some of these if you get XLS30 implemented and more adoption of it and the banking sector of things, then I would look back at our bear market for that real buy-in. You just buy it, you 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 buy it, and you just wait for it to explode all over again. Because as you can kind of see, we've already got this this kind of symmetrical triangle that it's made over its entire history. It's not super symmetrical. It was pointed down quite a ways, but this explosion out of it, I don't know if it has a massive amount more to run. Uh, but that we're sitting at all-time highs for it right now. So it looks like they're from current range to my price targets, another 70% is what I'd be looking at.
Okay. All right. So you've got maybe another 70% from BC. Let's go ahead and bring up my chart if it wants to come on. There we go. All right. So, yeah, like he was just saying, massive run up in 2017, real sideways going into this symmetrical triangle. Personally, for me, I just did a fib extension. So we go from the high to the low here. We already did break a new all-time high on the Bitstamp chart, I think on pretty much every exchange now at this point. And the 4.236 on this is about $13.70, which I do believe is doable, but I would be, once we get to the 1.618, I would be significantly out of XRP. That's at about $5.30. I believe there will probably be a heavy sell-off at $5.89 just for the meme. And then I'm looking anywhere between the 2.618 and the 3.618, about 8.5 to $11.72, $8.50 to $11.72. So just on your basic fib retracement and fib extension rather, that's what I'm looking for. So I would be mostly out at around $5, which from current price, let's go to from current price to, let's just say to the 1.618, I'd be mostly out by then. That's about 66%, 67% from current price. Then 850 was about 167%, and then that 1172 about 260%, and then to the 4.236 about 329%. So not too much left in it to what BC was saying. Now it can extend past its extension. So if we just go to the previous cycle, pull from high to low, do the same thing, we can see that we did surpass the extension here. And then we consolidated on top of the, what is this, the 2.618 before for about 6 months, and then it had one more run up in it. Now I don't know, I don't think it'll be a one-to-one from that cycle to this cycle, but crazier things have happened. If we go from, I'm going to go from this low to this high here, take a bars pattern on that. Bars pattern. That sounded really country. I'm going to take a bars pattern on that. That's the hick came out really strong on that one. Let's see. All right, let's put this down at the bottom here. I'm just going to put it from the bottom here. I mean, this gets you to about $77. I don't really see that happening, but that first push up does get you to that 2.618 at $8.51. Now, if it does do a 6-month consolidation on top of the highs, then maybe it can push up there, but I don't see that happening. But if we go from the bottom here to the top here, then we can see a little bit of an overextension past the Fibonacci extension levels, and that would get us to about $36. I personally would be well out of XRP by then, but that's just me.
I'd hope you'd be all out by like $10 to $12, sir.
Yeah. I'd say $8 to $11. Somewhere in that range, be mostly out, 80-90% out. Maybe keep you a small percentage in for the let's see what can happen type of deal. But outside of that, I would be mostly out. No questions, but that's okay. I didn't know you could do that whole Q&A thing. That's pretty cool. We should have started that from the get-go.
Well, I had that poll open first, so that poll, I wanted to know people's thoughts, and overwhelmingly bullish. There's about 25% which are neutral, like me, and then you have 8% which are bearish. So I guess there might be
how you can be bearish, but
hey, maybe they just don't like the project, sir.
That's probably it too. Yeah, that's
They're like, just go to the zero. Just go to the zero.
Just go to zero. Just go to zero. Now let's see if I pull a measured move on just this symmetrical triangle from top to bottom here. Just take the spread. Bottom, I mean, that gets us back up to that $20 to $23 range, which I have seen, and something that I do think is real, could potentially become a reality, which is $20 to $22. That's like my max, absolute max. I can't see it going past $20, especially when you consider the fact that it cost 2 XRP just to open a wallet or have your own wallet, and you've got to reserve XRP in order to maintain that wallet, to open it up and to hold it open. You have to keep 2 XRP in it at all times. When I first got into XRP and when I first got into crypto, that was 20. It was 20 XRP to be able to open a wallet, and you had to keep 20 XRP to hold that wallet open, or to keep that wallet. And I think that a lot of that, I think that does add a little bit of deflationary pressure slightly to the XRPL, because to the circulating supply, because to my knowledge, I don't know, I think once it's reserved, I mean, I don't know of closing a wallet and getting that back. I mean, maybe you can, but I've never done it. I've got probably 10 XRP wallets out there with, the reserve amount on it. And, but they've dropped that down since then now it's down to 2 XRP, which they had to do because if the price is going to move up, right now it would cost you $6 just to open a wallet and keep it open. So, and they built that in to help fight against bot attacks, because it would cost money in order to get the XRP and to hold it and all that stuff. It's a whole trust thing. Another thing with the nodes that I forgot to go over is the only incentive to run a node is to secure the network. Mm-hmm. There are no other incentives. That is literally the only incentive, is to secure the network, and I guess to take part in the governance of the chain. But Yeah, the only incentive, there's no kickbacks, there's no like Bitcoin mining rewards. There's no rewards. It is just simply, if you want to run a node, you can run a node and help secure the network. As far to my knowledge, well, let's see. Let's ask how many nodes on XRPL. I want to say they might have gotten into the thousands. As of November 2024, the network comprises approximately 828 active nodes, reflecting a 46% increase since October.
That's a very small amount of nodes.
That is a very small amount of nodes. These nodes are distributed globally and operate various versions of the XRPL software, with the majority running Rippled 2.2.3. This growth indicates a healthy expansion of XRPL network. But that's crazy though. So from October to November, in 1 month, the active nodes grew by almost 50%. So that's kind of crazy. But yeah, 828 active nodes is really not a lot. So
yeah, in comparison to Bitcoin's 21,000 nodes.
21. I'm surprised that's as small as it is. As long as Bitcoin's been around, but yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I mean, there's probably more we could get into. We could probably turn this into a much longer discussion, but we do have. I have football today. You may not have football today, but I got football to watch today. I got the AFC and NFC championships, and shout out to TradeFly. I will be pulling for your Commanders. All right, shout out to you, TradeFly. I'll be pulling for your Washington Redskins, Commanders, Red Commanders, Commander Skins.
Yeah, they should just put the name back.
Just put the name back. Just put the name back. And then in the other game, I guess I'll be pulling for the Bills. Yeah. Not the Chiefs. Not the Chiefs.
Thank you. Well, it just depends on how much the Chiefs paid the refs this time around.
That's how the Chiefs are like Ripple to Bitcoin maxis. You know, they're just paying their way to play. You know.
Oh, goodness.
That's how people see it. Don't forget, I am the one wearing the XRP shirt. Okay. All right. So just to settle this down, questions. I got to get rid of this questions. I can't see the chat.
I can close it out. There wasn't any questions that came in.
No questions. That's okay. That's okay. I think because
that means we did a good job. We did
exactly.
a good job done.
Good job. Good job. But yeah, so yeah, for me personally, if you just, when it comes to XRP, it's all about what is your belief when it comes to crypto. What are you here to make money? Are you here for the tech? Are you here for the philosophy? Are you here for all of them? All the above? Like, personally, I am here for all the above. To me, I will use XRP as an opportunity to buy more Bitcoin. That is me personally. I will hold XRP to sell it at a higher price so that I can buy more Bitcoin. And I also use XRP to facilitate some transactions between exchanges because it's fast and cheap. But outside of that, I have no philosophical, honestly, I have no axe to grind with Ripple and the XRPL. I think we are all humans. We can all do whatever we want with these protocols, as long as they're not doing what the Bitcoin maxis think they're doing, which is trying to get the U.S. to just completely not allow Bitcoin, which would be completely antithetical to everything that Ripple and the XRP community is trying to achieve. But, people will be tribal, and, it is what it is. I mean, I understand it. I understand both sides. I understand, people want just a strategic Bitcoin reserve. And I got to say, I'm kind of in the same boat. If we are to do a strategic reserve, I don't know why you would include any other cryptos. Bitcoin only. Just do it Bitcoin only. But I don't think you have to go and single out XRP in that process, because they're not the only ones that were name dropped. Okay, but for some reason the Bitcoin maxis just can't handle it. They just can't handle it, and it to me it's kind of funny and it's kind of sad. But
see, I think there's a list, and XRP just happened to be first on the list because it's the last in the alphabet, and they're just going opposite of alphabetical order.
no, well, they
Let's
go
tear
A,
apart
and then they go
Solana
Z,
next.
A Z B Y, C X. Okay, and that's how we get to it.
Solana is next. Let's just tear it apart.
And then if you're in the middle, where like Monero would be, you're screwed. No, Monero will never be part of the reserve. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, it's such a good chain, though.
It's truly private, right?
So I mean, like, it has its place if you want to talk about, hey, I'm a business and I need to send something over to this other business completely privately, and like you attach the same way that you have like with Bitcoin, you can now attach a rune to a block. So if you have that same concept where it's like, hey, I'm sending this super confidential paperwork over to you, completely anonymous, and just that'd be amazing. Governments would love that too. So Monero has a lot of potential. Yeah. Well, I mean, they're probably using a lot of this stuff, and then they're just like, you peons don't need to be investing in this. We're trying to buy all the XRP so that we can do devious acts with it.
Well, I doubt they'll be using XRP to do that.
I doubt it. I was just throwing out XRP because we're talking about XRP today. They're more likely to do Solana. So it's like, hey, go buy US government coin. It is a meme coin, and then we're just gonna rug you.
Oh, gosh. That's facts right there, man. Facts on facts. So for me, just investment opportunity. I will probably also get some exposure to Ripple if they ever IPO. That's just me personally. Just put it in my portfolio and see what happens. Not like a massive chunk or anything, but I do want to have exposure to something that I think has a lot of promise and a lot. It's got a lot going for it. I'll say that. But yeah, that is gonna be it for us. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this stream all about XRP. This is for all of you XRP lovers and haters. And hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. I enjoyed having the conversation with you, BC. And if you have any parting words, now's your time. Throwing it to you.
Well, I appreciate every single one of you that showed up and smash that like button or dislike button if you didn't like it. I don't know why you wouldn't. It's XRP, but that might be why you disliked it. But I hope y'all have a great rest of your weekend, and make sure to tune into that Markets After Dark at 11 p.m. and then 11 p.m. Eastern time, and then show up for that Good Morning Crypto at 7 Eastern time tomorrow, and we'll have a lot of alpha for you. So other than that, y'all stay safe. Yeah, 7 a.m. 7 a.m. Yeah.
Well, I didn't even have to plug. BC did it for me. Yeah, I'll be doing macro. Tonight will be Macro Monday. And then for Markets After Dark, and that'll be, like he said, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the Piper Academy Network. And then tomorrow night, I will have the one and only Trade Intuition on the show. We're going to be going over a lot of charts for TA Tuesday. But anyways, if you did enjoy this content and would like to see more stuff like this between BC and I think we would love to go over some more projects. But this one, I happen to know a really good amount of because I was deep in the community for a year and a half or so. And I was probably got more deep into this than any other chain outside of Bitcoin. Once I got super big into Bitcoin, I got orange pilled, and then there you go. That's kind of how it goes in crypto. Once you get deep into Bitcoin, I don't know that you can go with anything else really, unless you're just here for the memes. Which it seems like a lot of people are just here for the memes, which is fine too, you degenerates. But anyways,
Username.
yeah, username. All right, guys. Yeah, thank you for joining us. We do appreciate each and every single last one of you. And yeah, mad love to you all. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your afternoon. And yeah, that's going to be it. We'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Peace out.
Deuces.